The light that wouldn't go out. Every night, at exactly 2:13 a.m., the motion light on my neighbor's porch turned on, even though no one lived there anymore. I remember the first night I noticed it. It was mid-November, one of those quiet, cold nights when the world feels like it's holding its breath. The trees along Sycamore Lane were bare, their branches clawing at the sky. The kind of night where the smallest sound feels amplified. A dog barking 3 blocks away, the wind brushing dead leaves down the asphalt. I was sitting on my porch with a blanket around my shoulders, sipping on a glass of cheap bourbon. Couldn't sleep. Hadn't been sleeping much since my divorce 6 months back. The house was too quiet now, and my own thoughts were too loud. And that's when I saw it. A faint click, followed by the porch light from across the street blinking on. House number 23, the Miller place. Except the Millers hadn't lived there for over a year. They'd moved out suddenly. No garage sale, no farewell barbecue, not even a goodbye wave. One day they were there, and the next day the for sale sign went up. The house had sat empty ever since. So why the hell was the light turning on? At first, I figured maybe a raccoon had triggered the motion sensor, or maybe the timer was messed up. But it was the same exact time every night, 2:13 a.m., not a minute before or after. And every night, it stayed on for exactly 3 minutes before clicking off again. After the 4th night, curiosity got the better of me. I walked over. The air was colder there, or maybe I just imagined it. The streetlight buzzed overhead, casting that harsh yellow glow that makes everything look like a scene from a crime show. I stepped up to the edge of their yard. The grass had grown high, and the for sale sign was leaning to one side, half buried in fallen leaves. The light above the door was still on, humming faintly. Through the dusty front window, I could see the faint outline of furniture covered in white sheets. The whole place looked like it had been paused mid-life, as if someone had left for a weekend trip and never came back. And then I noticed something else. The front door was slightly open. Just a crack. Now, any sane person would have turned around right there. But I wasn't sleeping anyway, and loneliness makes people do weird things. So I pushed the door open. It creaked loudly. Inside, the air smelled of dust and stale paint. "Hello?" I called out. My flashlight beam bounced off the empty walls. No answer. I took a few cautious steps in. My flashlight beam caught family photos still hanging in the hallway. The Millers smiling in front of a Christmas tree, kids holding up presents, a golden retriever at their feet. It all looked frozen in time. I was halfway to the kitchen when something made me stop. Footprints. Small, muddy footprints on the tile floor. Fresh ones. I backed up slowly, my heart pounding in my throat. Maybe a kid had broken in, or a homeless person was squatting. Then, from somewhere upstairs, I heard it, a soft thump, like someone had dropped something. I turned toward the staircase. My flashlight beam shook slightly as I raised it. The stairs stretched up into the dark, like a mouth swallowing light. Another thump. This one closer. And then a whisper. A child's voice. Soft. Fragile. Like a memory. "Mom?" I froze. When I finally found the courage to move again, I backed out of that house as quietly as I could. I didn't look behind me, didn't stop until I was standing in the middle of the street again, gasping for air, like I'd been underwater. The light clicked off behind me. Exactly 3 minutes. 2:16 a.m. For the next week, I tried to tell myself it was just my imagination. I even set up a camera from my porch aimed right at the Miller house. Every night, 2:13 a.m., the light came on. And every night, my camera glitched at the exact same moment. Static, 3 minutes of corrupted footage. Then, fine again. By the 7th night, I couldn't take it anymore. I called the realtor, whose number was still on the faded for sale sign, a woman named Elaine Porter. I told her about the light, the sounds, the open door, everything. There was a long silence on the other end before she finally spoke. "Mr. Blake, you said you live across the street, correct?" "Yeah." "Then maybe it's best you don't go near that house again." I frowned. "Why? Is there something wrong with it?" Another silence. Then she said quietly, "That property isn't supposed to have electricity. The power's been shut off for months." That night, I didn't sleep. I just sat there, staring at the house through the blinds. And sure enough, 2:13 a.m., the light blinked on again. But this time, there was someone standing in the window. I dropped my glass. It shattered against the floor, but I didn't even flinch. I just stared. The figure was faint, half hidden behind the curtain. Looked like a woman. Then, slowly, she turned her head toward me and smiled. The next morning, I called the police. 2 officers came by, young guys, probably not long out of the academy. They checked the place top to bottom. Found nothing. No footprints, no signs of forced entry. The front door was locked tight. When I told them about the woman in the window, they exchanged that look cops give when they think you're wasting their time. "Probably just some kids messing around," one said. "House like that attracts 'em." But before they left, the other officer, a tall guy with gray at his temples, lingered a second. "You said you saw her smile at you?" "Yeah." "Did you, happen to notice anything else about her face?" I hesitated. "Now that you mention it, yeah. She had a scar across her cheek, like she'd been in an accident or something." The officer's expression tightened. "What's your name again, sir?" "Blake. Daniel Blake." He nodded slowly. "All right, Mr. Blake. Try to get some sleep." He walked back to the car without another word. That should have been the end of it. But it wasn't. Because the next night, the light didn't just turn on at 2:13. It stayed on. And this time I heard something through the open window. A woman crying. Her sobs were soft, broken. The kind that come from deep inside. The kind that make you feel like you're intruding just by hearing them. I crossed the street again, against every shred of common sense. When I reached the porch, the crying stopped, and I noticed something carved into the wooden doorframe. Words, shallow but clear, looked like they'd been scratched with a knife. It said, "It was my fault." I backed away, my pulse hammering. That's when I heard the voice again, faint from inside the house. "Daniel?" My name, whispered. The sound crawled under my skin. I turned and ran, didn't look back until I was inside my own house, slamming the door shut and locking it twice. When I finally dared to peek through the blinds, the light was off. For the next 2 days, I didn't leave my house. I called in sick to work, ignored texts, avoided everyone. I tried to tell myself it was stress, loneliness, grief from the divorce, anything but what it really felt like. that something in that house knew me. Then, on the third night, someone slid an envelope under my front door. No name, no return address, just a single sheet of paper inside. It read, "You need